Hi, Bob Price here. What I'm about to show you is based on a dream that I had of my good friend Najia, who's a gifted psychic, and it's about a dream I had of her where she was in Egypt and she was putting her hand down into the river of the Nile and pulling or communicating with the river and pulling its energy into her. And this video is all about what I learned as I focused on this and meditated, and what my guides taught me about this whole experience. I hope that you like what you learn here, and I will talk to you on the next one. The Nile shimmered beneath the dawn, and Najia knelt quietly at its edge, her lapis stones glowing like fragments of the sky. There was something about the image that stayed with me, not just the beauty of it, but the feeling behind it. It felt older than memory, as though the river itself carried something ancient within its current, waiting for someone to listen. What fascinated me most was that Najia had once truly gone to Egypt herself, not because someone sent her, not because it was easy. She followed an inner calling toward Egypt, towards creativity, dance, expression, and discovery. There is something deeply admirable about a person willing to step into an unfamiliar world simply to grow. And perhaps that is why the dream carried so much meaning for me. She had already touched the waters long before they appeared in my subconscious. When her hand moved towards the river, the water seemed to answer. Not violently, not dramatically, quietly, as though the Nile recognized something within her. The glow rising beneath her fingertips felt less like magic and more like remembrance, the beginning of transformation. Some waters do not merely cleanse the body, they awaken the soul to remember what it once knew in dreams. As I looked deeper into the imagery, I found myself thinking about what exists beneath the surface of things. The fish moving quietly through the Nile, aware of the presence above them, still, ancient, connected. There was something emotional about that moment, almost as if life itself was recognizing life, and I began to wonder how often the world around us senses our energy long before we understand it ourselves. We are all part of a cohesive system. What lives beneath the surface often recognizes something within us, and in that recognition, a circle of life is formed. The river no longer felt like water alone. It felt alive. Sunlight danced across the surface, while soft currents moved beneath like memory, awakening from sleep. Tiny particles drifted through the light like fragments of forgotten dreams. The Nile was no longer simply a place. It had become a reflection of consciousness itself. And I began to understand why water has always held so much spiritual meaning throughout human history. Water carries, water remembers, water transforms. As a Cancer sun and Pisces moon, the symbolism of water has always spoken deeply to me. Water does not force its way forward. It adapts, it flows, it survives. And perhaps sensitivity was never weakness at all. Perhaps it was navigation. Perhaps intuition is simply another way of listening to the currents moving quietly beneath life. At the bottom of the river rested an ancient stone, worn by time, steady, enduring. Fish drifted peacefully above it, while sunlight reached down through the water from the world above. The river did not fight the stone, it flowed around it patiently. And in that moment, I understood something simple and profound. Growth does not always come through force. Sometimes growth comes through persistence, through patience, through learning how to move with life instead of against it. The river holds space for the stones at the bottom, each supporting each other with a magical flow. There are moments in life when stillness teaches more than the words ever can. As Najia touched the sacred water to her forehead, the imagery no longer felt like a psychic spectacle. It felt like inner remembering, a quiet attempt to listen inwardly, to reconnect with intuition, to hear the softer voice beneath the noise of the world. And perhaps wisdom is not something we acquire. Perhaps it's something we slowly remember. Or when we look into the water, we often expect to see only ourselves. But sometimes reflections reveal something deeper, not merely who we are, but who we are becoming. A young reflection within the Nile carried both memory and hope. The past and the future existing together in a single moment. Sometimes when we look into the water, we see our reflection. It reveals who we are becoming, and as the years pass, we grow wiser. We see life more clearly, yet somewhere within us, we still remember who we were and when we were young. And then the river showed something else, not mystery, not symbolism, human connection, family, laughter, shared life. The water became a reflection of emotional nourishment itself. The moments we carry, the people we remember, the love quietly reshapes who we become, and suddenly the Nile no longer felt distant and ancient, it felt human. The sky deepened into a velvet blue. Stars shimmered upon the Nile, while the full moon glowed between towering clouds. The sunrise slowly approached from the horizon as the steam rose from the water's surface, and there, just above the river, her hand hovered in stillness, not touching, listening, waiting. And that silence, the river no longer felt outside of me. It felt within me, the current, the memory, the flow, the becoming, all of it. I leave you with this final parable. It's called Water as a Renewal and Connection. My parable of the water for those that have ears to hear, let them hear. We splash water on our face, a fresh start, a new day. The cool water replenishes, rejuvenates, washes away tears. We drink the fresh water and it enters us, eventually reaching the heart. We dip our hand into the sacred bowl and rub it into the third eye. A vision rises, who we are and who we can be. We splash with our loved ones in the pool of life, laughing, sharing, remembering joy. The water is who we are, and the hope is what we can become. I leave you with this final quote. This is written by myself. And perhaps the river was never outside us at all. Think about it.